Peter to hold.
Okay.
Are we expecting any? Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. I also would like to welcome you to this press conference, perhaps my last press conference in freedom. There are two statements here. The first statement is the Johannesburg statement, which you can publish it as I leave for Lilongwe. And the other one is the statement which I will make when I arrive in Lilongwe. We have rather made it available because we don't know what might happen when we get to Lilongwe. And in this respect, therefore, that it has to be published if and as when I get there. I am returning to Malawi today with an aim of helping to restore human rights and democracy in the country. As you know, in every struggle, no one is alone. You can't expose everybody. Some people have to lie low. Some soldiers have to remain in the barracks, in the reserves. But we are many in the ground in Malawi. You may perhaps be aware that for a long time, Malawi has suffered terrible repression. There have been some brutalities committed by Dr. Banda's regime, the Malawi Young Pioneer, and the police. In the past, this was ignored by the Western democratic world because Malawi was surrounded by Marxist governments in Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. And a benevolent dictator was therefore embraced, provided his regime was in line with the taste of the West. But now that all the countries surrounding Malawi are democratic, the situation has changed. We are therefore appealing to the international community to come to the aid and assist the people of Malawi to restore their democracy, which has been denied them for a very long time. You are aware that in Malawi, Dr. Banda and those that depend on him are desperately doing everything possible to stay in power, at the same time stating that their positions derive from a popular mandate obtained in 1961, the only time when Malawians ever participated in a meaningful election. This was before 3/4 of Malawians present today were actually born. It is now evident that most Malawians have decided that enough is enough. They want a democratic change. We demand that our rights be restored. We demand to be able to meet freely, to discuss politics freely and openly without fear of persecution. We are eager for the right to participate fully in the political life of our country. This means we want the right to form political parties, to contest elections in a free and fair atmosphere. This is normal. It is the conviction of many Malawians that the political decay and economic malaise in our country can only be reversed if Dr. Banda and his entire cabinet are defeated in a free and fair election, as it was in Zambia and elsewhere in West Africa. The destiny of Malawi, therefore, cannot be left in the hands of Dr. Banda or John Tembo alone. For me to say such things now is regarded as treasonous by those who hold power in my country. Yet in most other countries in the world, these things are taken for granted as normal. I am quite aware that a warrant of arrest is out in Malawi, and I may be arrested immediately I step out of the plane. But I am not frightened at all. I think we have a mission to accomplish, and this mission will have to be accomplished. Whether there's a warrant of arrest, whether there's death waiting for me, my colleagues will continue with this struggle. Although I'm apprehensive, but I am not frightened. And my arrest or death can only fuel the struggle for the restoration of democracy and our basic human rights in Malawi. Therefore, it will not be in vain. Following a conference of prominent Malawians in Lusaka, recently, an interim committee was established to back demands for change inside the country. And I have the privilege here to be flanked by my two colleagues. On my right, Ahmed Dasu, who is resident in London, who spent many years with me in detention, suffered, was tortured, abused, shouted at, deported. He was married only for 2 months at the time of his arrest and detention. He has come out willingly and is on the forefront to restore his basic rights in Malawi. He's at the same time my advisor. On my left is Dr. Mapopa Chipeta, a political scientist who works at the Southern African Institute for Policy Studies in Harare, and a member of the interim committee, also a member of the interim committee. The committee has therefore asked me to go back to Malawi to organize a national conference on the country's political future of all those organizations and individuals in Malawi who are yearning for change. This will be our first task, an enormous and formidable task. We are aware of the task ahead of us is very difficult indeed. It appears the Malawi Congress Party is bent on confrontation. This has already been shown by the way in which the country's bishops have been haunted for expressing their concerns about Malawi's socio-economic and political condition, and by the destruction of the Montefort press, which printed the bishop's pastoral letter. I should emphasize, however, that the committee is in no way linked to the United Front for Multi-Party Democracy or any other organizations outside Malawi. We don't believe that democratization in Malawi can be engineered from outside.